close to you, Sam.
All right.
Make sure.
Don't bump the baby.
Here's the group.
There's a form of communication that's nonverbal that is grossly underused in our society today. And when it's used, only a fraction of the possibilities for this communication is actually used. So today, we are going to learn about the power of the wink. Now, in its basic definition, a wink means to close and open one or both eyes. Now, who here can wink with their right eye? Now their left eye. And who can't wink? Well, you guys are lucky, but there are some people in the world that cannot wink. So, we are going to talk about why you would actually want to wink. You might want to flirt. You may want to tell a joke. You may only have that as a way of communicating, and we will talk about that. It might be a way to convey a conspiracy, and you might need it in an acting situation. So first, the flirt. Flirting and using winking go hand in hand, and this is one of the main ways that people think of why you might want to flirt. I myself used it when I was trying to get my future husband's attention a lot. Didn't I, dear?
Yes.
A lot. And I would even ask him afterward, now did you see that I winked? He said, yes, I saw that you winked. But I was using it as a flirting tactic. It's that he knew I was trying to get his attention. However, you want to be careful if you're using this tactic, because it could fail. So, in this case, he was flirting. She had something in her eye. You gotta be sure you're communicating the same thing, or it's not gonna work. Now, you might want to use a wink to convey that you're joking. You might want to wink at the end just to make sure that people understand that you're using some levity in your conversation. It's also a great way to communicate if you're just using text. It's hard to sometimes convey that you're joking. So a wink, an emoticon for technology, is a great way to let people know that you're joking, you're kidding, you're not being serious. And that's also good because you don't want to use that if you are trying to be serious. It's good to just know that. Next, it might be the only way you can communicate. Sometimes your hands might be full and you can't wave or give a high five or a fist bump, but you can wink. And it takes hardly any muscles, whereas waving, that's a lot of work, guys. So, I have another way. My father, he traveled to Japan a couple of times for business, and he sat down at one meal, and it was a very nice sit-down meal that was being paid for, and he sat down and 3 large, lovely octopus legs were given to start the meal. And he didn't want to be impolite, didn't want to offend his employers, so he ate one and he was able to swallow, and that was all he was going to be able to do. And the servers were coming and were wanting the meal to progress, and he didn't, again, want to offend, but he could not eat anymore. So what he did is he caught the eye of one of the waitresses and winked at her. She nodded. She came and took his plate away. He didn't have to embarrass anyone, and he didn't have to feel sick to his stomach the rest of the meal. Sometimes you might be in a crowded room and you might be engaged in a conversation. Someone can come in that you're familiar with. You don't want to miss out on the conversation, but you also want to acknowledge the person. You can wink at them. They know you've acknowledged them, but you're not being rude to who you're communicating with. So those are the ways that you can communicate with a wink when it's the only thing you can do. A wink can signify a conspiracy. Now, I'm not sure why these two men are winking in these pictures, but I thought it was funny that these two political leaders were both winking. So, makes me think of a conspiracy, since they are political leaders. So we're going to first look at a conspiracy being understood.
Man, that jury's gonna fall in love with you.
So she's obviously conveying that there's a conspiracy going on. It's understood. However, a wink can be also misunderstood as a conspiracy.
Who told you to sell the car?
Well, not in so many words, but I believe we had an understanding.
I was not winking, you idiot! That was the grapefruit! It's like acid! I need that card back. It's Mr. Steinbrenner's. I was responsible.
Well, Stubbs already sold it to some guy whose kid is in the hospital.
Well, get it back! It's very important!
Look, you want me to get it back or not?
Get it back!
So, again, you just need to be sure when you're using a wink that both people are on the same page so that you don't have miscommunication with your wink. Now, you may, if you were in an acting situation, you may need to wink also. We have Mary Poppins winking at us, and it just added to the scene, added to the magic that she was presenting to Jane and Michael. We also have Harrison Ford winking at the end of the first Star Wars: A New Hope, and you could tell that there was a little chemistry going on between him and Princess Leia. It was just barely starting. So this wink is very important. And if you are in an acting situation, you would hate for a director to point the camera at you and say, okay, now wink, and you wouldn't be able to do it. So there are ways that you could learn how to wink if you need to. It's just like anything else. You need to exercise, practice those muscles. You feel how it feels to first to blink, to close your eyes slowly and then open them, and then you practice it with just one eye. You can, first hold one eye so you can just work on the one. So if you're more skilled at winking with one eye versus another, you can build up the other muscles on the other side so you can wink equally on both sides. It's an equal wink. You'd be good. So my question to you is, what message are you now going to convey with your wink in the future? Because we learned there are many ways, different things that a wink conveys. It can be a flirt, can convey a joke, can be a conspiracy, it can be the only way you can communicate, and you might need it if you're acting. So now you are informed of what a wink means and the power that it has. And now, go forward with your winks. Yay!